Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be covering Cillian the Lucky, who is currently part of a fusion event going on for St. Patrick's Day. I'll be covering, the champion in general, how good he is, what he's useful for, and if you should go for the fusion and all of that good stuff. So yeah, let's get into it. Alrighty, first of all, one quick thing I want to touch on. I don't know how to word this. Obviously, there's an elephant in the room. I want to at least address it. I'm not qualified to talk about viruses or pandemics or anything, so I'm not going to. But I just want you all to know I'm not trying to ignore a significant worldwide topic or anything. It's just my expertise is in gaming, and that's the type of content I'm going to make on my channel because I'm not qualified to give any sort of advice or opinions in the, health industry. So all I can say is, I care about you guys, and times are crazy, schools are closing, sports leagues are shutting down. For any of you out there that are affected, I wish you the best, and I'm thinking about you. And if you know anybody in the healthcare industry, reach out to them and be there for them, and we're all on the same team right now. So let's all just try to be part of the solution instead of part of the problem. And I hope that we're all going to get through this and come out the other end with better knowledge on how to handle things like this in the future. But yeah, I just wanted to at least address it, and I'm gonna mainly focus on just making my normal daily content because that's what I do, and I'm not qualified to speak on that. So I didn't want you to think I'm ignoring it or refusing to address the crazy times going on in the world right now. I'm just not really qualified to say anything more than that. So yeah, wanted to mention that really quick, and I hope all of you out there are being safe and you're doing okay. So yeah, anyway, let's get into the fusion here. So the fusion for Cillian the Lucky is if you click on the portal, you go to fusion, and you'll see Cillian the Lucky. Obviously, this is for the St. Patrick's Day event. It's a St. Patrick's Day themed event with the 4-leaf kind of clover as the helm. I like the aesthetics, and just to go over the kit in general here, we've got a base speed of 98, which is not amazing, but it's okay. The A1 is attack one enemy 2 times. Each hit a 35% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. Each hit also has a 35% chance of stealing 30% of the target's turn meter. So, okay, it's a multi-hit A1. We wish that he wasn't magic affinity because he would be pretty decent in the Fire Knight, I believe. I mean, he's got a little bit of turn meter manipulation, speed, multi-hit A1. Could be decent in the Fire Knight, not godly, but usable. Will be tough to use in stage 20, though, with the weak hits. The A2 is attack one enemy with an 85% chance that we can book up to 100 of placing a block cooldown skills debuff for 4 turns. That is quite the lockout there. Also a 35% chance of placing a block cooldown skills debuff on all other enemies. We can book that up to a 50% chance. So a 50% chance that we attack one enemy, lock them out for 4 turns, and then boom, spread it across the whole team. That's an insane ability on a 3-turn cooldown, and an insane ability in the arena. You have a chance of stacking this guy with speed and accuracy, boom, locking out the enemy team. So kind of like a baby Hegemon type champion here, and on a 3-turn cooldown, that'd be very good in Faction Wars as well. So then we've got this A3 is attack one enemy with a 75% chance that we can book up to 100 of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn. Also a 25% chance of placing a stun debuff for 2 turns. So it's the 1 turn is basically guaranteed if you have books. Then we've got a 25% chance that it'll be 2 turns instead of 1. And another effect on top of that 25% RNG is stealing 50% of the target's turn meter. Resist or resets the cooldown of this skill if the target is killed. So can really snowball. We're getting some champions in the game like that. Rotos was kind of similar, can really snowball, get extra turns and stuff like that. So Cillian is kind of playing along with that theme of the RNG, the Luck of the Irish, St. Patrick's Day stuff of snowballing based on a little bit of RNG. We've got the Ascension skill is unlocks at 3-star. Place one of the following buffs on the champion for 2 turns at the start of each turn. Either a 50% increased attack buff, a 30% increased damage buff, 30% increased crit rate, or a 25% strengthen buff, or a block damage buff. Well, wait, is it or? Because some of them say A, and then some of them say or. Yeah, and then or. or a block damage. Yeah, it's just kind of how the sentence ends. But I think the way this is worded, 2 turns, places one of the following. Yeah, so sorry, some of these are a little bit hard to react to live here. I want to make sure and be as accurate as possible. Yeah, one of those 4 buffs is going to be going on this champion, for 2 turns at the start of each turn. So yeah, Cillian can really buff himself. You start getting increased attack and increased crit damage, snowballing on that. I don't like increased crit rate because it's not reliable to count on. So you're still going to probably have to build him with 100% crit rate. And if you get the increased crit rate, it's just a bad RNG. You're hoping for probably the attack and the crit damage, I guess, especially if you're using him in the arena. You're going to want him to hit super hard. But the strengthen and all that stuff and block damage can be good in faction wars and generally useful as well. The crit rate's the only one that's going to be tough to get like consistent value out of. And then he also has an aura, which is increase ally attack in all battles by 25%. Obviously, we prefer auras that are all battles, and 25% is not a bad percentage. It probably could have been, 30 since he is a legendary and it is attack. I would have preferred if it was all battles by 30, but whatever. It's a passive. So all in all, the kit is okay. I see it definitely having some potential. The only thing that kind of stinks is the magic affinity. Obviously, they're probably not going to make him void if it's a fusion like this for an event. That would be like a little bit too overpowered. I guess they would have to make it a lot tougher. But like force or something would have been great, I think, to or even spirit. Shamrock is the Spirit is green. Shamrock, last year's St. Patrick's Day fusion was Spirit. I think they should have went with Spirit here. So the only thing that's a little bit disappointing is the magic affinity. And but all in all, the kit in general looks pretty cool. And let's dive into the fusion event here. So now, if you pull up the news tab, it will walk you through this stuff. So here it shows you all the event breakdowns, how you can get the epics and all of the rares that go into the fusion. Now, one thing that's kind of cool about this fusion is I've been hammering on Plarium for releasing these fusions, and it's always like 3 brand new epics and then 1 that's like a void. So this is really good. They finally released a fusion where I think all of these champions have been out for a while. So if you watch my content on a regular basis, you'll know I always recommend diligent resource management, diligent champion vault management. Save a copy of all of your champions, especially your epics. Obviously not, maybe your non-rares, your non-void rares, you don't have to save a copy of if you're like full on vault space, but you should at least try to keep a copy of every void rare and every epic, at least 1 copy. For situations like this, and I'm finally gonna, be recommending something that benefits people, because typically my recommendation of that doesn't benefit anybody because they just release champions that are brand new, including the rares. So kudos, Plarium. Thank you for making this a fusion that people can actually prepare for, and if they're diligent about managing their champion pool, they actually have a fighting chance of accomplishing this fusion quickly. So thank you for that. And if I actually pull up my champion pool, we can see here I've already pulled them out. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll be able to get this fusion done pretty quickly, and I will try to max out this champion and be able to show you guys ASAP exactly what this champion is capable of, fully maxed out and ready to rock, and kind of test them and give you a more accurate representation of if this is something you should do or not. My kind of first opinion and first reaction is this is something you should go for. He'll be very good in faction wars, and for a lot of you out there, he'll probably help you in some certain dungeons and maybe even in the arena. I don't think he's going to be god tier, but that's okay. Obviously, not every champion in the game can be god tier. I think he'll be a decent legendary, and just in general, as a philosophy in Raid, I think anytime it's realistic for you to acquire a legendary, you should, because they have shown that sometimes, like Dracomorph, a legendary will come right out of your vault into the god tier of the game. So whenever you can acquire a legendary, I recommend you doing it. So I'm definitely going to recommend you guys go for this fusion, participate in the events. It looks like they've structured it pretty friendly, and compared to how they've done other fusions, this one's pretty friendly. It's like 19, 20 days or whatever, and the most kind of preparation friendly fusion that I think I've ever seen. I wasn't here for this Sir Nicholas fusion, but in terms of the fusions I've been a part of, the first one I was a part of was like Foley, and this is definitely the best structured fusion they've done in my opinion. So I'll get this champion hopefully tomorrow, max him out, and kind of do my best to show you guys exactly what he's capable of ASAP. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. Guys, I care about you. Be safe. It's crazy times right now for all of us, and I hope gaming can be a sanctuary for us to kind of help, you know, give us some relief from the crazy world around us. And yeah, so anyway, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.